Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of Life of a Creator. It is currently Sunday evening. I am back in the studio working on my patterns. After last week's episode, I realized that I did not need to add in my seam allowance on my front bodice here. To be honest, I took a seat back months before I made these patterns because I had other things going on in my life that required a little bit more of my time, and I had forgotten certain steps. So that's why I had so much confusion last week, because I was trying to remember certain steps and I did not need to add in those seam allowance on this step of my pattern process. So I took the time today to write down and jot down all the steps that it takes in order to make my patterns and my samples. So with that being said, I am going to go ahead and remove this seam allowance on my front bodice. Again, I have already made my pattern for my sleeve and also my back bodice. I did make my front bodice sloper. I need to also make my sleeve and my back sloper. And for those who do not know what a sloper is, it's basically the measurements that I take from my basic patterns here and put it on construction paper and cut it out, and I will use the sloper and I will use it as a foundation for any other garments I'm going to use going forward in the design process. So with that being said, I am going to go ahead and take this sloper, after I make my other slopers for my sleeve and my back, take this sloper and put it on new pattern paper for my actual first look that I am creating from the collection. And I'm going to add in my measurements. I want to make them a little bit bigger than the actual body measurements, and add in the details and all of that onto the pattern paper. And then I will cut that pattern paper out and put it on this muslin fabric here. Basically, this is going to be the sample fabric for the look. And then I'm going to cut and sew the muslin fabric, and I'm going to try it on and see how it fits. If everything fits well, then I'm going to go ahead and create a sloper for that new pattern that I made. And then after I make that new sloper, I'm going to take that sloper and put it on the actual fabric of the look and go from there. So with that being said, I'm about to get back to it before it gets too late in the night, before I have to start meal prepping and getting myself ready for the week ahead. So with that being said, I'll check back in with you all later. Okay guys, so now that my back and my sleeve sloper is cut out, I am going to go ahead and put down my notations for them, so going forward I do not have any confusion. So I need to, where's my marker? today's date. Alexa, what's today's date?
Today is Sunday, February 9th.
Okay. So I got my notations down for my back and sleeve sloper. Now I'm going to put these onto the pattern paper, and then we're going to go from there. Alright guys, so I have all of my slopers cut out. I have my front and my back and my sleeve sloper cut out. Over here I have my front sloper laying on my pattern paper. I'm going to go ahead and trace this sloper onto the pattern paper, and then I'm going to start designing out the look of the first look of the collection, which I have over here on my iPad, trying to decide on where I want to start at of the design process. I'm probably going to work on this all of tonight before I start meal prepping and head to the gym. And then I'm going to start on the back bodice and the sleeve on Tuesday, because tomorrow I am working on my my Cowboy Carter look, which will be, I will probably like post that content on TikTok or something. So if you guys want to check me out on that process, you could follow me on TikTok at DeMarco, I believe, _Gentry. And I will be going over the whole design process of the Cowboy Carter look that I pray that I could get done. So yeah, with that being said, I'm going to get started on my front bodice sloper, trace it out onto the pattern paper, and start designing out the look of the first look of the collection. And then I'm going to start meal prepping, go to the gym, and call it a night. So with that being said, I'll probably see you guys back in here in the studio on Tuesday. So I probably need to put my indications where the waist is at as well on the pattern, the waist and the high hip. So let me notate that onto the pattern too.
dynamic one who travels on February 5th.
Yeah, I went to her birth 14 or something in this house in Scotland, and she said to her son, "Don't those trousers rather emphasise the gentleman's equipment?" And then we all fell around laughing. And you seem to, the way you talk about things, I mean, you mentioned...
You by now, but then this ego, I have to forgive myself and think, well, you know, everybody's just human. I mean, these are just...
Hey, what's up, guys? It is Thursday. I am back in the studio. I'm going to try to get done as much as possible on my pattern before I have to head into work. I know I said I was going to be back in here on Tuesday and working on my pattern, but Tuesday was pre-sale day for the Beehive members for the Cowboy Carter tour. And when I tell you it was a bloodbath trying to get them tickets, it was crazy. I was so determined to get my ticket. I was attempting to come in here and work on Wednesday, but I decided to jump back in because Wednesday was pre-sale for Verizon and also Citibank customers, and I have Citibank, and I went in and I was able to get a ticket this time. I have 2 months before I have to have a look complete if I want to make it for the Cowboy Carter tour. So wish me luck on that. And again, you can follow me on TikTok because that's where I'll be making that look for the concert. Again, I pray I can get it done because I'm really trying to focus in on these patterns and get as much done with these as possible. But I'm trying to find that balance between working on the Cowboy Carter outfit and also my patterns here for the collection. So let me go ahead and get started on this before I have to head out and go to work. Alright guys, so I just wrote down and jot down all the things, the next steps I need to do on this front bodice of the pattern. So when I come in tomorrow, I can just jump right into working on those things and not try to scramble and try to figure out what's the next step. So I am going to go ahead and head to work and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. What's up guys, it is Friday. We made it through another work week. I am in here working on my patterns and I have finished my darts. I extended my size on the pattern. If I have to, once I make the sample piece on the muslin fabric, I may have to extend it out a little bit more if it's a little tight on me, because muslin fabric does not have any stretch in it whatsoever. So I may have to extend the measurements out a little bit more. Now I need to go ahead and draft in my pockets. So in this area here, I'm going to draft in my pockets. And then once I do that, I'm going to add in my seam allowances around the pattern. Then go ahead and notate my different panels that I have. I'm going to have 2 panels here, and this part starting at the bust is going to be panel 1, and this is going to be panel 2, and this is where I will sew the two panels together at. And once I notate my 2 patterns and add in my seam allowances, then I'm going to cut it out and put it on muslin fabric. And then I also need to cut out and notate my back and also design my back pattern as well. And then I'm going to cut that one out and put it on muslin fabric. And then I'm going to sew the two, the front and the back, and then I'm going to try them on and see how everything fits. Alright guys, so with that all being said, I am going to go ahead and jump right into it before I have to head into work. Let's get as much done as possible that I can, and I'll pick back up in next week's episode. And next week's episode is going to be all about trying on the fit and seeing how it fits on me. Hopefully it fits well. If not, I'm going to have to go back into the pattern and see what areas I may need to edit. If I don't need to edit anything, again, I'm going to just go ahead and proceed with the process. If I do, I'm just going to have to repeat this whole thing over again until I get the sample to look the way I want it to look. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in again before I have to go into work, and I'll pick back up in next week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this one and stayed until the end. If so, go ahead and smash that like button and comment. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And I will see you guys in next week's episode.